Hey everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. This is another weekly update for cool custom creations that people have been building throughout the week. I encourage you guys to check out the links in the description below to the builders' sites, mostly just Flickr accounts and stuff like that. But let's just jump right into it and check out this first build here. This is Ghostbusters Ecto-Wing by Brent Waller. A really great sort of marriage between two different, well, pop culture references, really. I think the X-Wing is probably the most recreated build in LEGO. It's almost equivalent to how designers are always making chairs and looking for the most stylish and economical and efficient way to an age-old design. And anyways, this is great because not only is the color combination working in a very sort of subtle way, I like the black and yellow stripes that go along the nose, but this builder used, I think, the exact same roof that we get from the LEGO Ideas Ecto-1. There's just a ton of great details to appreciate here. We have the fins on the back, just like the Ecto-1 has with the old Cadillac. The proton packs have been inverted to become the blasters on the ends of the wings. And if you look right at the front, the Ecto-1 license plate is right on the nose. And you might have also noticed that Slimer takes on the role of the astromech droid. I mean, there's just so many perfect sort of marriages between one detail in the universe and the detail in the Star Wars universe. Alright, awesome build. Now let's move on to something that got me really excited, especially because we're working on a LEGO city here at Brick Vault. This is the Modular Space Center by Sandro Damiano. Once again, this is a combination of two different themes, but done in a different way. This is two different LEGO themes that have come together. On one side, we've got the ever-adored classic space theme with the very iconic color combination of light gray, blue, and the transparent yellow. But here we have a very original design that is built in the same fashion as we get the LEGO Modular Creator buildings. I gotta say here, everything is awesome. The outside just looks wonderful. We have some great external detailing. There is a mishmash of just a ton of different mechanical looking things on the center wall, and we've got a couple of doors, I think, on either side. Maybe one of those doors is meant for just vehicles going in and out. And also a great thing to note is that the sidewalk dimensions are exactly the same as the other modular builds from LEGO. Heck, even the light post is. There's a lot more great stuff going on in the front. Here is a better look at some of the vehicles that come with the set, and you can actually fit them all either on or inside the build. The first floor has space for a hover speeder. You can see where it would exit out the second door on the front with that yellow light. And if you couldn't tell from that first picture, maybe you could tell from the second that the interior for this ship is awesome. Did I say ship? I meant modular building. Also, that landing pad on the top is where the larger ship goes. Here's what it looks like from the back. There is a ton of really cool things that are going on here, and I figured that I don't want to talk about every single little detail because it is definitely worth your time to check this build out and discover really cool things all on your own. Moving down the list, this build here is similar in the sense that there's a lot of stuff going on, more than anything I could really talk about in terms of just little hidden details and fun things to notice. But we've got some great looking building here and a few things that look incredibly unique. This is Kongsfeld Manor by Patrick Massey. It seems this is a small village with one completed house up on stilts, which is something I haven't seen before. Great detailing for the house, but I think some of the coolest stuff are in the smaller details. First off, I think the tree building is some of the best tree building I've seen in a long time. Each trunk grows in a somewhat different or crooked way, which makes it just look a lot more real, and you can tell the difference between the red birch trees. Part of what makes this particular build unique compared to ones that might be very similar to this is the way in which the environment is actually presented. You can see that it is put onto a display with these black walls going around the sides and built up onto the corners, or at least some of the corners, because the actual environment is sort of bleeding out or leaking out onto the table or onto whatever surface this thing is on, and it makes this world seem just a bit more organic, a bit more there. And I, for one, just love that this is a very simple idea, but it manages to boost the overall display of this build just to another sort of fun and more involved degree. And okay, let's change gears a little bit. Here is something, a forced perspective build, which is I'm just always a sucker for. It is simply titled Bedroom by Heikki Mattila. And if you take a close look at the Lego that makes up this bedroom, you can see it is definitely not minifigure scale. It is scaled up quite a bit more, and that of course allows for a lot more detail to present itself. The bed is somewhat in a perfectly made fashion. This is a very sort of hyper modern kind of style. Everything is very clean and all the angles are very rigid. But I think the biggest draw to this particular build is certainly the small cityscape in the background. That is all made of Lego, and it really just looks like it is right outside of this window, and that makes for just a very clever bit of building put into just the right place, and it completely changes the atmosphere of this entire build. Here is a picture of the bedroom from sort of a dead-on angle. It does look a lot different, doesn't look nearly as impressive as an atmosphere. By the way, it is kind of an interesting thing to note that we're using the underside of a base plate as detailing. Don't really see that maybe ever. So that's kind of a unique building point, but when you look back at the whole thing from this angle, it really sends home the idea that we're in some very nice sort of penthouse or very nice apartment. They're obviously living in a big city. They could be a professional making a lot of money. You can sort of just start creating a story all on your own from this one sort of snapshot. And from that point alone, it really does make this build very successful if somebody can just start looking at it and creating and sort of jumping into the world that the builder was attempting to create. Now, switching things up once again, we've got a build that's been turning quite a lot of heads this week. This is the Castle, or the Casket, I believe is the title, by Marcel V. Casket is, I think, referring to the fact that this is a micro-scale build, a tiny castle, and we've got some awesome detailing that really makes it up. There's a little bit of the countryside, a little pathway, a bridge that looks like it leads up to the gate, and some nice little spires. But what's so nice about this is that it's inside a what looks like a music box or just a little lock box, and that does a few things that I think really tie this whole thing together quite nicely. It scales it to a human size scale, so this could be a display that would fit in just right onto a table or something, but it also makes this whole thing feel a bit ornate. The white curved backdrop behind the castle could be some sort of velvet inlay, and you can even see some reinforcement in the corners on the top there. I don't know, there's just a lot of attention to detail. Things that I wouldn't even think to have possibly included have ended up inside this build, and I think it just works really, really well. Now this next build seems like one of the cooler interactive Lego builds I've seen in a while. This is a Modular Maze by HummingDuke. Explaining the concept seems relatively simple. This is, a maze that is contained with, I think, let's see, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 16 different modular chunks, maze chunks, well 16 including the centerpiece that can be moved around. Actually, I don't know if it can be moved around. Maybe the maze point is always sort of a journey inward, so to speak. The concept is excellent. I think they can connect together at several different points, which allows you to create all kinds of unique and fun pathways. I don't know how much they block each other off or what kind of routes you can create. I have a feeling the number is extremely high in terms of the different kinds of mazes that you can create. And part of me wishes this gets turned into a Lego idea set, though I doubt that. The Modular Maze from JK Brickworks didn't come out that long ago, and that's actually a pretty good set. Anyways, this one does look great, and I do wish it could be a reality in terms of a Lego set, but perhaps the maze wasn't meant for you. I don't know what that was about, but anyways, the next build is Wacky Races the Bulletproof Bomb, aka the Roaring Plenty. This is a single build out of a series of different kind of fun, stylized characters driving different kinds of really great looking different vehicles and stuff. This is from the builder Red. It's always wonderful to see a builder has a very sort of fleshed out style, one that shows a lot of personality, and it's always wonderful to see people building off of that. I highly encourage you to check out the link in the description for this one and see all the great, fun, different wacky vehicles that he's created. Now for this last section, I'm just going to let a few totally awesome robot builds run by. Don't worry, links for these builders will be in the video description below as always, but I figure if you've lasted this long in the video, maybe you might have an opinion about this. But I just started this weekly custom build episode idea for Sundays, and already I've gotten quite a few requests by the viewers, to showcase your custom Lego builds. I've refrained from doing that for this episode at least, but I'm thinking about maybe implementing it for the next time. When I do it, I don't think it's going to be a similar kind of review where I talk about the great aesthetics or anything like that. I think I'll just let the pictures run by, kind of like I'm letting the pictures run by right now. But anyways, yeah, if you have any cool builds that you might want to show off for next week, I think I'm going to put a fan section in right at the end. And don't worry, this is going to be open for builders of all kinds. So if you're not quite as expert as maybe some of the things I'm talking about in the beginning of the episode, don't let that discourage you. In fact, this whole reason why I want to do it is hopefully to encourage people to work on fun Lego projects, and if you send it in, then yeah, it would be great to put it up on these Sunday episodes. So anyways, that was just a thought I was having. Let me know what you guys think about it, and send a picture over of a cool build that you've been working on. And yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. Anyways, that is it for this episode. If you enjoy our content, you can always like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time at Brick Vault.